morning. It is 6:20 a.m. Pacific time. The date today is the 7th of November, 2019. Welcome to my trading journal. This is the Jigsaw day trader platform. These are futures products. Just real quick from left to right. The Ultra Bond here. This is the 30-year. This is the 5-year, this is the 10-year, which is primarily what I trade, and this is the E-mini S&P. This is all trading on order flow. These are order books, and there's no charts or indicators or oscillators or anything like that here. This is just observing what's going on in the market and trying to pull out a few ticks at a time. Speaking of which, I got into a trade here. This is a continuation trade. Not one of my favorite setups, but I feel like the context and the situation called for it. This is what happened during the overnight. Basically, we had this big sell-off during the European session, and it's just basically been selling ever since. This is a delayed chart, so you're not going to see actually what's going on in real time, but we pushed down through the overnight low, and then now we popped back up to it right about here, and then I'm looking for this trend here to continue. So the complication we have is cash open in about 8 minutes. So that might change things. We were also asking for this to make another low, which it just did, so it's not a big ask, but still always trying to break through previous barriers can be complicated. I want to keep an eye on the 30-year here to see if we can make new lows over here. These guys could lead the way. Also want to keep an eye on the 5-year and to see what happens with this bid. They've already had 300 plus down. And it's only really softened up to about 15. There you go. So they start to pull off. So we got our one target filled. Just kind of hanging this out a couple ticks, looking for this to push down through before it pops back up. Next logical place for resistance after a move down would be back up to the previous low. Making new lows over here across the board. That's good. Pretty decent size on the bid here. So I want to see. We got 700 down. It's still about 3,000. That's not good. I'm just going to trail this and lock in some profits. Really need this to start to pull off, or we can just look to cover. Cover at the low and then regroup after a cash open. I was here yesterday, fired everything up, and didn't really see some really good opportunities, and then there was an announcement on trade. Yeah, I'm just gonna cover this thing here. There was an announcement on trade, and everything went berserk, so I just decided to do other things. So I guess my point in saying that is just that I tried. I was here, I was ready. Just didn't really see anything materialize. So that's all part of this. Alright, so then we got stopped out on our second contract, +2. So 3 ticks to start the day. Was kind of hoping this would continue lower, but made a bit of a double bottom there. And let's see what else. Let's look at the calendar real quick. Nothing coming out. There's a couple auctions. 4-week, 8-week. That's at 8:30 Pacific time. So in about 2 hours. And then you have a 30-year bond auction, which will be at 10 a.m. my time, which I'll be long gone by then. But no other announcements really coming out. Pretty quiet. Tomorrow you have consumer sentiment at 7 a.m. my time, but that's about it too. A couple Fed speakers later in the day, but that shouldn't affect the markets. But yeah, so we got about 2 minutes till cash open. I'll just go ahead and pause this, and if probably won't see you again till probably closer to 7 o'clock. Okay, here we are, about 1 minute till 7 a.m. Looks like we actually finally got that sell-off I was looking for previously. Starting up the old recorder again, because kind of taking a look at a bit of a fade here, just because there's some big size on the bid, and I want to see if it actually trades. We've had about 500 down, 700 at this point. It's holding pretty well. Oh, just pulled off. It's a pretty good size up here as well. I don't know if they just decided to change the order type from a limit order to a market order and just go for it, but definitely some volume building here. Looks to be on the sell side, meaning the sellers are just absorbing the buying at this point. Yeah, the Ultra Bond at 30-year continue lower, and the 10-year just kind of stayed where it was, and the 5-year. There, we got a back tick. See if we can take a shot. So now the 30 and Ultra Bond are back up to this line, if not above it. They're starting to go higher, starting to lift. Damn. 500 in the queue, we missed it. Yep, I think we missed it. Not necessarily. Unfortunately, I don't know if I actually want it now. I think the previous low was at 20.5. So that might be the extent of this little move if it's going to continue being a trend day. Still got the bonds lifting. 5 years just sort of in a holding pattern. The longer the ES just sort of starts to accumulate here at 91, the more precarious this trade is, I think. Really need the ES to start pushing the lows in order to get going on this guy, I think. I don't like this. I'm definitely going to scratch this thing. Probably should have tried to take it off a little bit sooner. As soon as, we lost those several ticks over here, momentum went away. All right, scratch that guy. I don't know if I was in real danger of losing money on that one, but I think, shit, look at this. It's tough. I just didn't like how quickly they dropped in those 2 ticks. But just kind of spooked me, I guess. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen now, but Probably should have hung in there a little bit longer. Oh well, I'll just go ahead and pause it, and if something else happens, I'll start her back up. Okay, it's 7:46 a.m. Pacific time. It's still November 7th, and this obviously sold down several ticks from the last trade. Turns out I was correct to scratch. This has just been selling by brute force, just size overwhelming the bid. And I'm not sure a fade is even in order at this point. However, we do have a little volume node developing right here at 16.5. But you can see there's pretty good size pretty much the whole way down. On a good fade trade, I like to see like very small prints all the way down, and then you know it's going to eventually kind of pop back up. But this has just been good volume trading at every level and just brute force, like I said, just slamming this thing down. Like buyers are just completely overwhelmed. Like drowning. Tried to put up a little bit of a fight right there. Doesn't look like it's going to go. Get some volume developing here in the 5-year as well. But the just trend sell-off just continues unabated. Just getting crushed. And you can see the ES hasn't really done much. It's definitely trading to the high side, but it's building volume, making new highs just incrementally, nothing crazy. So this is just unloading. But I am getting close to the end of my trading day. And unless you want to short this thing, I think that's pretty much the only option at this point, and I'm not really inclined to do that as well. Don't want to sell the bottom. What could be the bottom. So yeah, that's it. I think I might be done. But just in case, I reserve the right to start the recorder once again if this thing backticks and buyers start getting aggressive across all these products. Then maybe. But as of right now, it looks like it's a one-way street. I'm not trading tomorrow, so have a good weekend, everybody. Back on probably Wednesday of next week.